My child, the people who were supposed to stay are the ones who walked away. That is the wound, isn't it? The one you have learned to talk around but never quite over. And I am not going to rush you past it tonight. I am not going to hand you a tidy lesson and ask you to feel better before you are ready. The hurt is real and it deserves to be named, not hurried. So before anything else, hear this one true thing. Even if they forsake you, I take you up. Stay with me for a few quiet minutes and let that begin to settle into you. But first, in plain honesty, because you have been told too many things that turned out not to be true. What you are about to hear is an encouragement drawn from the Bible, a reflection offered in faith. It is not a private message from heaven about your situation, and it is not a prediction of what will happen next. It is the timeless comfort of Scripture, read slowly and kindly over a heart that has been left. And there is one verse I want to build this whole night around. It comes from the book of Psalms, the 27th Psalm, verse 10. Listen to the words carefully, because they were written for exactly this ache. When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. Read it again slowly, inside your own heart. When the very first people who were meant to hold you let go, I do not let go. When the ones who gave you your name turn their backs, I turn my face toward you. This is not a soft saying invented to make you feel better for a moment. In the Scriptures, this is the voice of the one who formed you, speaking over the ones the world overlooked. And tonight, that ancient promise is being spoken over you. So let these words reach you the way the Bible offers them, as if the Father himself were sitting close beside you and saying, My child, I know what was taken from you. I know about the empty chair, the phone that never rang on the days it should have. I know about the birthday that passed without a word, and the way you told yourself it did not matter when it did. I know about the door that closed and the silence on the other side of it that lasted far too long. You did not imagine that absence. You did not make it bigger than it was. It was real, and it left a mark, and I have seen every inch of that mark. You have carried a question for a long time, haven't you? A quiet one, the kind you would never say out loud at the dinner table. If my own family could leave me, then what does that say about me? If the people who were supposed to love me first found me easy to walk away from, then maybe I am the kind of person who gets left. My child, hear me, because this matters more than almost anything I will say tonight. Their leaving was never the measure of your worth. What others could not give you was never proof of what you are not. It was the limit of what they could carry. People leave for 1,000 reasons that live inside them, not inside you. Their absence wrote a story about them. It never had the right to write the truth about you. I want to speak gently to the lie that has been living in that wound. The lie says that because you were left, you are unlovable, that something about you repels the people who get close. It whispers that everyone eventually walks, so you may as well stop hoping anyone will stay. It tells you to keep one hand on the door at all times, so you are never surprised by goodbye again. My child, that voice is not telling you the truth, and it is not speaking for heaven. You are not hard to love. You were loved before you took your first breath, and you are loved at this very moment. The one who made you has never once considered walking away from you. So when that old voice says, everyone leaves, answer it with what is true. Even if they forsake you, I take you up. So if you are listening tonight with that particular ache, this is for you. If you grew up watching for a parent who never came, this is for you. If your family closed its arms and called it a choice, This is for you. If the person who promised forever simply stopped showing up, this especially is for you. You do not have to explain your story here. You do not have to defend the people who hurt you, and you do not have to pretend it did not happen. You only have to let yourself be seen by the one who stayed. Come as you are, with the wound still open if it has to be. Now, I want to be careful here, because love does not ask you to lie. I am not telling you to call the leaving good or to pretend it did not cost you anything. I am not asking you to rush toward forgiveness you are not ready for, or to force a closeness that is not safe. Your job tonight is not to fix the people who left. It is to let yourself be held by the one who did not. The focus is not on what they took. The focus is on the love that is still here, reaching to fill the place they left empty. You can hold the truth of the hurt and the truth of being loved at the very same time. There is a kind of belonging the world cannot take from you, even when people walk out. The scriptures speak of being received into a family that does not run on bloodlines or moods or convenience. The Apostle Paul wrote about being adopted as a child of God, brought in, named, and kept. Adoption means a choice was made. It means someone looked at you and said, "You are mine," on purpose. You were not an accident heaven tolerated. You were a child heaven chose. And the one who chooses you does not have a season where he changes his mind. Human love can be unsteady, here today and distant tomorrow. But the love that takes you up when your father and mother forsake you was never the unsteady kind. I know you have learned to expect goodbye. You have stood in doorways already bracing for the day this person leaves too. You have held people at arm's length not because you did not want them close, but because closeness has always come with a bill you were afraid to pay. I understand why you built those walls. They kept you alive through seasons no child should have had to survive. But hear me gently. You do not have to keep one hand on the door with me. I am not going to study you for flaws and then quietly back away. I already know everything. And I am still here. There is no version of you I have not already seen, and there is no version of you I would leave. In the Gospel of John, there is a promise for the ones who feel left behind. Listen to the heart of it. He told his own that he would not leave them as orphans, that he would come to them himself. Lord, for the ones with no one to come for them. And to those very ones, the promise is not maybe, and it is not someday if you earn it. The promise is, I will come to you. So if you have ever felt like an orphan, even with people all around you, those words have your name written inside them. You are not the one heaven forgot to come back for. I want to speak to the child you used to be, the small one who waited by the window. The one who learned to be quiet so no one would have a reason to leave. The one who decided far too young that love was something you had to earn and could lose at any moment. My child, that little one was never the problem. That little one deserved to be held and chosen and kept. And so do you now. I was there in those years, even when you could not feel me. I was the steadiness underneath a home that was not steady. You survived what you survived because you were held, even on the days no human arms were reaching for you. And I know what the leaving did to your trust. When the people who should have been safest were not, the whole world started to feel unsafe. You learned to read a room for the first sign of withdrawal. You learned to leave first before you could be left. You called it being independent, but underneath, it was a heart that had simply stopped expecting anyone to stay. I am not asking you to tear those walls down in a single night. Healing does not work that way, and I am patient. I am only asking you to leave one small window open and to to let one true thing through it. I am not going anywhere. So let me say it again, the way you may have needed someone to say it for your whole life. You are wanted, not tolerated, wanted. The world taught you that love is something fragile, that it leaves when you become inconvenient or difficult or too much. That is what the leaving taught you. But it taught you wrong. The love that takes you up is not waiting for you to be easy. It is not measuring whether you are worth the trouble. It does not rise when you are pleasant and fall when you are a mess. When you are strong, you are wanted. When you are falling apart, you are wanted just the same. On your best day, you are mine. And on the day you are sure no one could want you, you are still mine. I want you to think back, for just a moment, on the years you thought would break you. The nights you cried for someone who was never going to come. The holidays you spent pretending you were fine. And yet, here you are, still standing, still capable of love, even after love let you down. Do you ever wonder how you are not harder than you turned out to be? How you can still be tender after everything that should have made you cold? How you can still long for connection when connection is exactly where you were wounded? That softness in you that refused to die, that was not weakness. That was something being kept alive in you that no one could kill. You were held through the leaving, even when the only arms you could feel were empty. And here is something the wound has been hiding from you. You are not only the person things were done to. You have become a person who knows how to stay. You know what it costs when someone walks out, and so you have become careful with the hearts that are handed to you. The loyalty you carry now, you did not learn it from being treated well. You learned it from knowing what abandonment feels like and refusing to pass it on. The way you noticed the lonely person at the edge of the room, you learned that by being that person. The kindness you show to the ones everyone else gives up on, you bought that with your own story. One day, someone who has just been left will find their way to you, and the very wound you are carrying tonight will become the reason they feel safe with you. Nothing you have suffered is going to be wasted. And let me speak gently to the comparison that has been quietly stealing your peace. You have looked at other families, whole and warm, and decided you were given less. You have watched people be celebrated by parents who showed up and felt the old ache of standing outside a window again. I am not going to pretend you were not given a harder beginning. Some of you were, and it was not fair. But hear this. The love that takes you up is not the leftovers after everyone else got the real thing. The scriptures are full of the left and the overlooked who became the most loved of all. The abandoned son sold by his own brothers. The child set adrift on a river. The ones the world wrote off and heaven wrote in. Your beginning is not your ending. What you were handed is not the same as what you were kept by. You are not behind. You are held by a love that does not measure you against anyone else's family. So tonight, I am asking you to set down a few things you were never meant to carry. Lay down the belief that you were left because something is wrong with you. Lay down the habit of leaving first, of loving with one foot already out the door. Lay down the fear that everyone who matters will eventually become one more goodbye. You were not made to live braced for abandonment, and you do not have to carry that watchfulness alone anymore. And about the people who left, I want to say something careful, because your peace matters to me. You do not have to hate them to be healed, and you do not have to chase them to be whole. You do not owe anyone a door left open that was only ever used to walk out. But you also do not have to let their leaving be the loudest voice in your life anymore. What they could not give you, I am not short of. The love you went without, There is no shortage of it here. You can let go of the weight of their choices, not because it did not matter, but because you were never meant to carry their absence as if it were your fault. Let the empty place they left become the place where you finally feel me holding you. If these words have stirred something in you, you do not need to do anything dramatic. You do not owe a stranger a comment, and you do not have to prove your pain to anyone to make it real. But if you would like, take this quiet moment and turn it into a small prayer. It can be as simple as this. Lord, I was left and it still hurts. Take me up the way you promised. There are no perfect words for this. The scriptures show God meeting people in tears and in silence and in prayers too heavy to finish. Your honesty is more than enough. And if someone comes to your mind right now, someone who knows this ache of being left, you are welcome to share this message with them. Not as a chain and not as a demand, just as a kindness. The way you would sit beside someone who is grieving and simply not leave. Now here is one gentle but important reminder, and I will not rush past it. Faith is a deep comfort, but it is not a replacement for care. The wound of abandonment can run very deep, and if it is pressing on you in a way that feels too heavy to carry, please also reach out to a counselor, a doctor, or someone you trust. There is no shame in needing a real person to help you carry a real wound. Asking for support is not a failure of faith. It is wisdom, and it is brave. And before we come to the end, let me ask one simple thing of you. Let yourself be taken up. I am not telling you the ache will vanish by morning. I am not handing you a reunion or a guarantee or a tidy ending wrapped with a bow. I am telling you what faith has always whispered to the left and the lonely, that you were never as alone as the leaving made you feel. The hands that held you through every goodbye are still holding you now. You did not survive this far on your own strength. You survived because you were taken up again and again on the days you could not feel it. And the same love that carried you here is not about to set you down now. So as this message comes toward its close, I want to leave one thing in your hands to carry into tomorrow. You are not the one who was left for good. Whatever doors have closed behind you, the final word over your life is not abandoned. The love that takes you up is not waiting for you to deserve it, and it is not going to change its mind about you. I will not promise you a date. I will not promise you which people will return or whether they will. I will not pretend to know what only God knows. You have been handed enough empty promises, and I will not add to the pile. But I can leave you with what the scriptures say with full confidence. When your father and your mother forsake you, the Lord takes you up. So lift your head tonight, not because the wound is suddenly gone, but because you were never, not for one moment, truly left alone. Take one more slow breath now, and let this be the truth you fall asleep on. You are seen. You are chosen. You are taken up. Wherever tomorrow takes you, and whoever did or did not stay, may you walk forward knowing that the one who made you has taken hold of you and will not let go. Peace be with you, my friend. Rest now.